What's going on, ladies and DeGents? Welcome back to the Distinguished DeGents podcast, your home for our Maryland Sports Betting Center. I'm one half of the Distinguished DeGents. I'm Steve, Big Bucks Beta. Joining me as always, it's my co-host. It is Jason, Money Mansmann. Money Mansmann, we made it through the NFL Conference Championship for the 2023 season. Boy, I personally have a lot to say. I have a lot of takes that we need to get over this. Our friend Niners gang, welcome back to the show, buddy. Glad to see you. Congratulations on your Niners. Congrats on the home field advantage. I'm sure that'll bode you well in Las Vegas. With that said, Money Mansmann, opening remarks. What's going on, man? How was the betting week? Let's start there.
Good betting week. My first winning week in the playoffs. I didn't bet that much.
Love it.
I didn't bet that much, so all in all, it was only like a few unit victory, but we finally got over the hump. We finally got a win. Hallelujah.
I also had a very positive betting week. Basically had a 20-unit profit day. Honestly, though, really what it came down to was instead of just going on the same game parlays and trying to parlay here and there, I basically just took every prop bet I had and just took a unit on each, maybe even more depending. And also the two game picks, Chiefs plus 3.5 and Lions plus 7.5. Those were honestly like a lock the whole time. So big 20-unit profit week for me. That was very nice. Now I got some change to play with the Super Bowl. Will be very nice.
Yeah, that feels good to have a bankroll.
Feels good. Thank you, Niners gang. We appreciate the love.
Thank you, man.
Yeah, I already donated my annual $100 to our buddy Waffles Needs Money Foundation, aka the Vaughn Family Super Bowl Squares. So. But still, good to go into the Super Bowl knowing you have a bankroll, knowing you're coming in with some positives, you're coming in with hitting some good bets, and you have that positive energy. Even though we have a 2-week rest, not a 2-week, we have a 1-week rest period, but it gives us time to actually do our research for the Super Bowl, figure out what we actually want to play, figure out what we don't want to even look at.
And hey, look at the bright side. You can watch Stephon Diggs in the Pro Bowl because you'll never get to watch him in the Super Bowl. So.
Will Trevon Diggs pick him off again?
Oh, God. Yeah.
I mean,
who knows?
Yeah, I don't even think. Don't tell me FanDuel's putting up odds for the Pro Bowl. Like, first of all, like if they do, First of all, if they did, what the hell would those odds even be? Because you know they don't care. They will literally just run around and do whatever. Second off, like, it's a flag football game. Like,
over under flag football, 67.5.
I mean, I guess I don't even know what
I don't think there's odds up for it, but that's crazy if they're.
Could you imagine if they did? Like, that would be the crazy. But no, opening remarks. I mean, we had a couple nail biters. Truth be told, it was in a way it was kind of a lot like how we thought it would go, and in a couple other ways, far from what we expected. But what was your hottest take as far as like that whole week that you think went the right way, and what was the biggest shock for you?
Well, this wasn't the Super Bowl that we needed, but it probably was the one that we deserved.
It's the one that Niners gang wanted, which really just involved the Niners. I think he
would have preferred to play Baltimore, considering the way they came out. You know what it is? I think the moral of the story last week was that championship teams are just... they're built differently. I mean, I just think you look at what the Chiefs and the Niners did, and it just seemed like every time they needed a big play, they got it. And every time the other team needed a big play, they didn't get it. And that's sort of been Kansas City throughout the whole playoffs. Niners, I mean, they only had 2 games to a lesser extent, but sort of the same thing. When they needed a big drive, they got it. When they needed a stop, they got it. When they needed a turnover, they got it. And that's why these are the last 2 teams left in the playoffs.
I see, and it's weird that you put it like that. For me, this is like, we always talk about contenders versus pretenders, who's the real deal, who's a fraud. This conference championship just proved to me who was a fraud of an organization and who may be a fraud as a head coach versus who are the head coaches that are the real deal, who are the ones that time and time again you can just rely on to lead your team to a victory versus who's just going to choke when it matters the most. Primary example, we always say Mike McCarthy, but really it's just the Dallas Cowboys as a franchise. They never just seem to be able to get out of the divisional round, let alone the wild card. And honestly, we'll get to the Ravens. That's a big take from me. But I think we just really saw like who was a Super Bowl winning organization versus who was just a team not lucky to be in the playoffs, but who was a playoff team versus who was a Super Bowl team. And we just saw what that was.
Yeah, catch off. I mean, it's perfect. Like the catch off the face mask was crazy. The fumble at the goal line in the Chiefs game was crazy. And it just seems like, I don't know, man, these good teams, it's like the difference in the game. Like, for example, week before, Josh Allen has a short touchdown. He gets bumped as he's throwing. The ball falls incomplete. Zay Flowers, 1 yard line, fumbles at the goal line. The Niners game, you could point to a few plays. I mean, 24-10, 4th and 3. I think it was Reynolds who dropped
every other head coach. Yeah, every other head coach also, you kick the 3. They don't do, and he doesn't, and not Dan Campbell. He doesn't kick the 3. He goes for it.
But it's so crazy because they converted it and the guy dropped the ball. I mean, it's just winning teams. Like the guy catches the ball, they go up 34-10, and the game's over. I mean, it's just that's why again we're getting the Super Bowl. Not that anyone wanted. Maybe Niner game, but yeah. It's the one we deserve. We deserve the Taylor Swift Super Bowl, and Brock Purdy, who everybody has been talking shit on. We'll get more into him. Can I say one thing? It's not a matter of, maybe I'm not speaking for everyone. It's not a matter of like, I hate Taylor Swift. Fuck her. Like, I get it. She doesn't choose to necessarily sort of be on camera every 5 seconds. It just annoys me that she is. Like, it's not really her fault. Yeah. I'm not saying she's a bad person or anything. It's just, it annoys me that, like, every 5 seconds you have to see Taylor fucking Swift in the booth. What annoys me, too, is even after the game, every social media post, it's her and Travis Kelce. It's Taylor Swift going to the Super Bowl. And it just gets to a point where it's like, you clearly see the NFL is just shoving it in your face. Social media, ESPN are shoving it in your face, and we're just we just need something different. It's not that like everybody hates Taylor Swift, but it's just like, can we get back to football? Can we get back to the one thing, like, as every American going through all this crazy bullshit right now in the world with the crazy politics and nobody could get a fucking house. The one thing we have left is football Sunday, and you're gonna shove this pop idol that half that demographic doesn't give two shits about to begin with. Like, can we just stop? And now it's the Super Bowl, the biggest holiday for every American. And it's gonna be like Taylor Swift songs, every commercial, and pictures of her. And again, like I said, I know there are the people out there, the chauvinist pigs, and
No, it has nothing to do with that. If anything, she's doing the right thing by getting the publicity and making the money that she's making off of this.
And I don't think she even necessarily wants it. Like, I think she's just there at the game. And let's be honest, it's just the TV execs who, every commercial want to go and
we gotta get you We got to get you a new camera mount there, buddy, but that's okay. No, but getting off topic there.
Someone is trying to call me on my freaking camera. That's why.
Oh, we can't have that. We can't have that.
Yeah,
that's okay. All right. Well,
it's Jesus. Yeah, bear with me while I rearrange my camera there. But no, it's one of those things. Yeah, it's one of those things. I'll fix it after this point. No,
it's Taylor. Niner Gang says it's Taylor calling.
Yeah, it's her lawyers. But no, again, don't get me wrong. It's not like her as a bad person. I don't despise her. It's really not her fault. I'm just tired of the TV people. Again. Let the poor woman enjoy the game in peace. Like, do you need to show her every 5 seconds? And don't get me wrong, I was the same way with fucking DeMar Hamlin during the Bengals game when you couldn't see him. Like,
Oh yeah, that was
I don't know. It's
that
just
was
bitter
something.
too. Like Niner gang, you might not feel this way, but when your team is like not in the Super Bowl, and I'm gonna have to watch Taylor Swift and the Chiefs be all happy, it's just gonna be it's just really gonna piss me off. That's all.
Yeah, well, especially me as a Broncos fan, like that's the last thing I want to see
Yeah.
is just the Chiefs win another goddamn Super Bowl. That's your
Oh,
Niners game.
Jesus.
They'll keep cutting to Purdy's family.
I
I'd
don't
rather
know.
see that though.
Purdy's
I'd rather see
family,
that.
Purdy's family versus Taylor Swift. I don't know.
I take Purdy's family any day.
And it's just so cheap too, real quick. It just feels so cheap because, like you said, it just feels like some TV exec somewhere is like, you know how we could get big ratings? We'll put Taylor Swift on all the time, so a bunch of like people who like Taylor Swift will watch. It doesn't even feel like real.
It's not genuine. Like you're not getting genuine fans because the minute Taylor Swift stops going to games or she's just had enough or God forbid they break up, like all that viewership's going down.
God, if Travis Kelce retired, that would be the funniest shit. I swear to God, that'd be.
I would be so happy. I'd be so happy if he
would cry
retired.
their little eyes out and not know what to do with themselves. Yeah.
And my last point too, that like it just seems like a smokescreen effect. Like as my conspiracy theory for all this, it just seems like a smokescreen for all the bullshit like officiating we've had, for all like the bad football play we have had to watch, for the whole Sunday ticket fiasco with going, which by the way, them going to YouTube TV, smartest thing they ever did. DirecTV was going down the shitter. So that was nice, but like, don't you remember they were like shoving that down your throat on every commercial where it was like, oh, you want to watch the game? You need to get YouTube TV.
Peacock, the Peacock subscription.
Yeah, and now it's just like, oh no, here, pay attention to Taylor Swift. But it's like, oh yeah, go get Peacock, go get Paramount Plus, go get ESPN, and it's just at some point, NFL just has to like own up to like all the shortcomings that they've had.
NFL just needs to focus on the product and leave poor Taylor Swift alone and let her watch the game, which is what she wants to do.
Fucking to that. Well, here we go. Niners game. The refs making it a different kind of flag football. 100%.
The Pro Bowl skills game will have like 17 penalties.
That would be. Oh God, that could be a problem.
Can we get Brad Allen to officiate the Pro Bowl? That's what I want to see.
Oh man. All right. Well, I think we need to get into this. We have to talk. We are a Maryland podcast. We have to talk about the Ravens. Unfortunately, they fell short. It was 17-10. I'm gonna let you take the start with this, only because I know you have your feelings about Lamar Jackson. I've been patiently waiting for my take, but I really want to get into what you have to say first. Only because I think it might go better.
Going to be a 2-time MVP is the biggest joke in like NFL history. This guy's a bum. He played horrible. The guy can't throw the football. If you stop him from running, he can't throw. The guy is no good. What did I learn? Nothing. Because I knew with the Ravens, the Bills have beaten them a bunch of times this way. Kansas City completely locked down their offense. I mean, the guy he's a below average to average quarterback. He's amazing running the football, but if you contain him in the pocket, that's the difference between Mahomes, Allen, Rodgers, these other guys who were in their prime, mobile. Those guys could sit in the pocket and throw the football. Lamar Jackson is an average quarterback. And the fact that this guy's a 2-time MVP is just shocking. And I don't think the Ravens are ever going to win with him because he's just not a good enough quarterback. He just isn't. How many times have we seen you keep him from, getting the 80-yard runs and the game-breaking runs, and they score 10 points? And that's it.
Pittsburgh's figured it out. Seems to be the only team other than the Chiefs.
I mean, they got very lucky against Houston. Houston tired out in the game. And all credit to the Ravens defense. I thought the Ravens defense was going to struggle. they actually in the second half really, really came on. But this offense dreadful.
They didn't just come on, they shut them out in the second half. How is it that you shut out Patrick Mahomes in the second half and you don't win? You say it's Lamar Jackson and terrible play. Or do you think there's more to it?
The key point was they stopped the run, and now again, I don't want to fully bury Lamar Jackson. They did make a couple big plays. The fumble by the end zone was a massive play. But like Lamar Jackson's interception was, I don't mind. Like Josh Allen does that. What's the media saying? Oh, Josh Allen's a bum. He's no good. He's the 28th best quarterback in the league. Sean McDermott's a genius.
Oh, look. No, all they say is, look, Josh Allen turned the ball over again.
I mean, no offense. Like, this guy's going to be the 2-time MVP. And I mean, let's be honest. You keep him from running the ball. The guy beats up on bad teams. That's what he does. He's a front runner. The Ravens have been front runners for years. They beat up on bad teams. And
let me stop. I'll stop you there. That's not true. That's not true. They beat the hell out of the Lions. They beat up on the 49ers. I could name a few other teams too. I'd have to look at the rest of their schedule, but the top two that come to mind. Oh, the Rams.
But Niner gang could tell you they beat up on the Niners after the Niners went through the NFC gauntlet.
I could say that's fair. I can't completely fault.
He has as many He's going to have as many MVPs as he has playoff wins.
100%. I mean, but also too, like, he beat Joe Burrow, the Seahawks. Well, the Seahawks aren't that great of a team now, but I will say this: they had a very easy schedule this year, and that's probably how Lamar got the MVP. Sort of like in 2019. You have to remember, like, there were a lot of teams that people thought were great, and then come towards the end of the season, a lot of those wins did not look as good on paper. But
I've just never seen a team, real quick, and then I promise I will let you go. I've just never seen a team that front runs as much as the Ravens. I mean, they're a pure front runner.
So I said this about Mike Tomlin, where he's had a lot of success in the organization, but sometimes you just need a change of pace. Sometimes when you look at a team and you have to admit to a rebuild, it may be just time to go, because do you really want to spend the latter part of your career just going through one more rebuild? I have a hard time blaming Lamar Jackson for this. If anything, I blame the coaching for this, and this just proves to me that, like, I think this is a sign that John Harbaugh needs to go.
Wow. Ooh.
I really mean that, because, and look, say what you will about Greg Roman. Like, by the way, like, Rex Ryan apologizing to Greg Roman just sounded like the biggest fucking doofus ever. Because the Ravens admittedly looked better under this new offensive scheme than they ever did under Greg Roman, even in the 2019. Niner gang, you just beat me to my point. How do you come up with a scheme as the number one team in the AFC, with a scheme you use to beat the rest of the NFC? You hand the ball off to your running back 6 times in that game. 6 times against the Chiefs. 3 to Justice Hill, 3 to Gus Edwards. Oh, and by the way, looking at the team stats, 81 rushing yards to 89. And that was with Lamar Jackson running. But even looking at the Gus Edwards play and Justice Hill, I mean, that's 23 yards. So you can make the argument, well, Chiefs are stopping the run. Well, it's like, did they really stop the run, or did the Ravens just not really try? Did they just try in the first half and give up and just said, Lamar, you have to throw from now on? And there's many times, too, you saw the play calling, and everybody's watching like, oh, look, Lamar's going to go for the scramble. He's going to run, and he just stays in the pocket. And there's just times that, like, the Texans game is a good reminder. You brought it up. First half, he did that same shit. It wasn't working. They were tied. What does Lamar do in the second half? He reverts back to old Lamar, and he goes, you know what? Pocket's open. I'm running. He didn't do that in this game. And I think that's what truly just cost the Ravens the win, because there was just so many ample opportunities to tear down this Chiefs defense that honestly a Josh Allen would most likely do in that same situation. And the Ravens just never did. They just kept getting sacked, and they just kept trying to stay in the pocket and make Lamar throw a ball, which with like what you said, it's a quarterback who is pretty much mediocre when it comes to the pass. Harbaugh makes it to the AFC Championship. He's never going to get that far again. And I'm not going to say it's Lamar Jackson's fault. You cannot. This is the second time you've done it too. And you've been a bust. You've literally done everything around Lamar Jackson. I would make the argument that the Ravens and the Bills are literally in the same boat. I really would. Because at this point too, and especially too, you look at the quarterback, you make the argument, I don't care what the stats say. I don't care who you think the better quarterback is. Lamar's a 2-time MVP. You've been the number 1 seed twice. That's something that you never had was a bill with Josh Allen. Say what you will. But you have the same situation in coaching where, once again, you're just bumped out of the playoffs. Still no Super Bowl appearance. Still, you cannot get past the Chiefs. I just think Harbaugh needs to go. I really think he needs to go. I just don't think there's any more he can do. I just think that for the Ravens, you're not going to get better than Lamar. So you might as well get a guy who can get him over to that next level. Because clearly, Harbaugh's only going to do so much. And I don't know whether you blame the new OC, but I don't think you can. He's looked better. I just think Harbaugh as a head coach, you once again choked. And if you want to be a successful Ravens team, first time at home, you can't do that. And it's not just that you lost. You lost bad. You had a whole second half. Your defense shut them out. No 3 points to account for that whole second half. I just think it's unforgivable.
And let's be honest, I mean, it's hard to really gauge the game just because it felt like Kansas City's offense towards the latter part of the second half was playing very conservative. Like they didn't want to make a mistake.
I don't even think it was that. I think the Ravens defense stepped up. I think they had a very similar situation like the Texans where it was like, okay, we made it out of the first half. We now need to step up. We have to shut them out. And literally it was.
You go ahead.
That's the other part that's unforgivable. And I don't think you really can blame Lamar too much. Your defense stepped up. Justin Tucker, for as much as we barely saw him, he kicked the field goal he had to make. How is it that on offense you get nothing done and your defense and the rest of your team is doing everything? In a game and literally have seen Lamar do time and time again. Get the Ravens team into the end zone, whether it's on his legs or not. And you just choke that bad. And do nothing.
Yeah.
It's a masterclass in coaching by Andy Reid. He literally just proved he's better by making you make mistakes.
The defensive game plan to contain Lamar, I mean, that's why he couldn't run a lot, because they were just content to contain him in the pocket and just wait him out. And I don't know, man, sometimes Lamar on those deep balls, he has a little bit of 2020 Josh in him, where he'd literally just always overthrow the deep balls all the time. I don't know, man. Lamar was way off in that game. He threw some real flutter balls out there, especially on the deep passes. I mean, I don't know, man. It's a bad loss for Lamar Jackson. I don't know. I have concerns about when you contain him in the pocket, what he's able to do. And it kills me because, as a Bills fan, if we got that defensive effort against the Chiefs, we're in the Super Bowl. But we didn't. So, But on Andy Reid, the Chiefs, I mean, what kind of putting it back to the Chiefs, I hate to I don't want to just kill Lamar because, I mean, what can you say about the Chiefs? They're just winners. They just win. They find ways to win. They turn you over on the 1 yard line. They make the big play all the time. Third down with the game on the line, they hit the 42-yard pass to ice the game. They just win. The Chiefs just win. Andy Reid's such a good coach. It's just infuriating.
Well, you know what
they're gonna win the Super Bowl too. Watch, they're gonna win because they will just win. They just win.
I don't know. I mean, look, dude, I don't know if it's that the Chiefs are that good or they just get that lucky. I mean, how many times have we seen in the regular season Mahomes make that throw to MVS and MVS drops it? Or it's overthrown, and how many times have we seen him throw to Kadarius Toney and it goes through his hands and it's picked? I mean, this time I think the team has just finally clicked, and they clicked at the right time. I hate to say it, the Chiefs are just like, this Chiefs team in specific, like very specifically, is like one of the luckiest conference finals teams I have ever seen. There were so many chances for them to get bumped out, and it just seems like they have caught every break. We forget that like 2 months ago, we were talking about if the Broncos were going to shock the world and bump off the Chiefs as a division winner.
How stupid does that sound?
I knew it was bad. But God. I mean, but think about it. Like, that was an angle that people were talking about. They were talking about the Chiefs potentially being a wild card. And the Chiefs finally got 2 road games, back-to-back road games, in Miami. I mean, like...
Well, Miami was a doormat. They were a fraud.
I mean, yeah, but God,
even the Bills game, like, they didn't even get the break. Think about it. The Bills were going to lose the game. The guy fumbled out of the end zone, and then they still found a way to win.
Yeah, it's so unbelievable. We have to get the Chiefs once a fucking again. Oh. Spike Andy's cheeseburgers. God, I hope Vegas throws cheeseburgers at them. I really do.
Don't they feel like the Patriots of like a successor to the Patriots, where you just play the Patriots and they always caught every break to win the game?
God, what was it? Was it the 16 Patriots or the 18 Patriots that like had no business making it to this? It was the one where they played the Rams. And it was just like, they had no business.
Yeah.
Yeah. They had like no business being there. Nobody really thought they were serious. And then they go to the Super Bowl again. You're like, really? Are we really about to see another Tom Brady? And sure as shit, we did. That's what this feels like with this Chiefs team. God, Panthers, Patriots. I think I was like 7 or 8 when that happened.
Was a long time ago. That was.
But I remembered watching that live. I remember as a kid seeing that and shocked as hell too. That was such a good game. But
this reminds me of the perfect Patriots that lost to the Giants in the Super Bowl, and maybe that's what we'll get. But it always felt like sort of that team. Every time they got like close to losing, they would just, all the breaks would go against them. They'd find a way to win. They get every break. It seems like the Chiefs, it's like whenever a break goes against them, they always recover. And then it's like at the same time, it feels like they get every break.
I just wonder if you're the Chiefs, does your luck run out? Like, at what point do you get caught with your pants down? That's how I really feel about this Chiefs team. And look, years before, like specifically like when they had Tyreek Hill, but even last year when they played, it didn't really feel like that they were this bad. Last year, it was just like, how are they going to be without Tyreek Hill? They were good enough. Nobody questioned that. This year, everybody questioned, do the Chiefs still have it? Is Mahomes falling off a cliff?
You know what?
And they're just still doing it.
You know what it is now? Their defense is good. They never had a good defense. Their defense is solid. They got a good D. I think people forgot that because, narratives.
I think I did, but
I'll just say narratives because people wanted to spin a certain story. This Chiefs defense is really good. It's going to be tough for the Niners. Niners got a tough game coming.
Yeah, let's. Any final words on the Chiefs Ravens before we move on?
No.
All right, it's time. Niner Gangs moment.
I like it.
The Niners. Brock Purdy's the new Eli. And the Chiefs, was it the Chiefs that lost a lineman in that game? Or was it the Niners? I can't remember, but I was going to say that the Chiefs too, they were without Joe Tooney, their center. They still found a way. Like, it's just like break after break.
Patrick Mahomes got sacked in the game for like his first time in the playoffs and like 104. I mean, it's just, God, I hate the Chiefs so much. Like, they're just,
Yeah.
Anyway.
I fucking hate the Chiefs, but let's move on. The Niners, they hosted the Lions. They had them in the first half. And then fucking Dan Campbell, with the worst momentum switch you could give somebody, drop ball. Niners tie it at 24. Game ends 34-31. Nail biter. Again, I said that coaching pretenders and contenders. Niner gang, you alluded to this. I got to find your comment here real quick. But this sums it up pretty well. Dan still thinks like a player. He wants to go for it. He needs to be the coach and take the points. I don't mind the cockiness. I don't mind if this is what got you so far. Why deviate from it now? That was just the most boneheaded coaching decision to not go for that 3 in that big of a spot. With literally everything on the line. And I get it. Again, like, you're Dan Campbell. I go for it on 4th. I generally convert over 70% of the time. I'm up 2 scores. Why wouldn't I do it? Well, Dan, do the math. If you take the 3, you're up 3 scores. That's like a nail in the coffin play against this Niners team who now has to go 3 drives and score instead of 2 if you miss, with field possession in their favor almost. It was just like, you watched that game and it was all Lions up until that play. And it just felt like, it literally felt like once that happened, Niners were going to win and they were going to find a way. Sort of like in the Green Bay game when like Green Bay couldn't convert, there was just that momentum switch in the 4th quarter, and then the Niners just got it, and the next thing you know, you're like, Niners are going to win this. I mean, I'm glad I was right on the cover. I'm glad I didn't take Detroit money line by any stretch, but that was just, I mean, Niner game, Joe Montana-ish comeback. Yeah, I could see it. Niner game, he wants to extend Dan Campbell's contract. I mean, he's already going to get it, but yeah, I'm sure you're going to love playing him every time now, too. Just, like, it's so unfortunate. Like, you make one bad call as a coach and it kills the game. That's what this was for me. Just one bad play call. And he's going to have to live with that and eat that, too. And you have to wonder, is that the closest they're going to get in the next 30 years?
He even told his players they may not get another chance.
Really unfortunate for the Lions, but at the same time, it's like, who else do you blame? Like, what else do you say? CJ Gardner-Johnson, glad to see you're going home, waving at halftime. Not even at halftime, you're waving to the fans. That, like, I saw that and I was just like, that is, I should have just live bet the Niners then, but you know what? It's okay. I don't even know what else to say. It's just, it was so bad of a coaching. I think everybody knows to kick for 3. I'll leave it at this. I saw some stat where it was like Dan Campbell 70% or something, like going for it on 4th. His kicker in the 40 to 49 yard range was like 7 for 20 or something.
Yeah.
And that's another thing.
Why do you have him as a kicker, then?
Thank you. Why is he your kicker if he can't kick a 40 to 49 yarder? And I also blame the coach. Dan, why is he on your team? Will Lutz could probably make more than that.
Tyler Bass might even be able to fucking make it.
Oh, God, Niner gang, he's going with the Eminem rants.
Yeah,
Eminem dropping a diss track. One shot, one opportunity. Oh, and they dropped the ball. Would you take it? All right, Mansmann, go. I can't anymore.
So this is going to surprise you. I honestly agreed with Dan Campbell's decision to go 4th and 3 from the 27. I would have done the same thing.
Really?
The way the Lions offense was moving the ball with the success they had and the fact they were up 2 scores, I actually like that decision. I would have done that too. I did not have a problem with that one, even though it didn't work out. And unfortunately, I'm pretty sure if I remember correctly, it was like the worst possible thing that happened because they literally got stopped. And then I think the Niners had like a massive play to get a touchdown, like
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly.
So that was like the worst. That was the worst thing. What I hated though, 4th and 5 from the 30, down 3. I would have kicked the field goal to tie the game. That was a bad decision.
Yeah, that was.
The Lions
had
done nothing. They were climbing back into the game. It was basically like a 45, 46-yard field goal to tie the game. That was inexcusable.
By the way, I'm also pissed off. Sam Laporta, 4 yards away from getting that touchdown. I'd have hit a 13-1 same-game parlay on that game. But no, he had to get thrown out of bounds and ruled short. I forgot if he was out of bounds or ruled short, but that was such a fucking killer, too, on top of all that. So, yeah. Thanks, Sam Laporta, for killing me there. Yeah, the 4th and 3, that was bad. 4th and 5 to tie the game.
That was asinine.
What are you thinking? Like, sometimes you just need a check guy. You just need someone to, like, get in your ear and just say, hey, stop being a fucking idiot. Call timeout. Take the 3. And you just have to have a check guy that, like, you have to trust and, like, question later. It doesn't seem like Dan Campbell has that. Whereas, like, Andy Reid, Steve Spagnuolo, say what you will. I'm sure he can go to Steve. Steve, just make the call. Just make the defensive call. Just get the stop. The Niners with Shanahan, I'm sure he's had a lot of success with his coordinators, so I'm sure he goes to them. Just get a touchdown here. Brock, just make the play. Or the Niners defense, get the stop. That's all we need. But it just doesn't seem like Campbell has that ability.
You know what it is? I think sometimes there were too many coaches, and I don't know if this is where Campbell was at or not. I haven't watched really enough Lions games to tell. I feel like too many guys are either like the Brandon Staley, the analytics say go for it all the time. I don't care if it's 4th and 2 from the 25. I'm going to go for it. Whatever. Who gives a fuck? And then there are the guys like fucking, the Robert Salas of the world who are kicking field goals. 6 and 11. They're 6 and 10, and they're kicking.
Riverboat Ron. We're gonna kick the extra point down 8.
Yeah, like to me, the reason why I liked the first decision was because the Lions were moving the ball easily. They hadn't been stopped. You're up 2 scores. You basically have a chance to sort of kill the Niners there if you get the first down. And it was 3 yards. You could run, you could throw. There's a lot of different things you could do. But 4th and 5 from the 30, when your offense had been shut out basically for like a quarter and a half, and to tie the game, and your offense was struggling, and the momentum, like, it clearly turned, that's the point where you kick your field goal, you get your defense back on the field, and then you maybe try and win it next drive.
If you're playing a bad team, I think you're 100% right. When you're in the NFC Conference Finals, and you're 1 game away from the Super Bowl, and every point matters, I think you have to deviate a little bit. Especially with a team like the Niners, who did have that big comeback against Green Bay, and who does have an offense with all those weapons, including Christian McCaffrey, who is just who probably really should be the MVP this season, in my opinion. But
yeah.
You don't go for 4 to shut the nail. You take the points and let their defense do their job. Because they were also doing that too. It wasn't like the defense wasn't getting stops and, shutting down Brock Purdy. Defense was doing fine. That's what was so asinine to me about it. It was like, there's just times. Take the points, let the team do their job, and get aggressive later. Don't get too cocky and fly too close to the sun. Niner game, you got all the Avengers, but no Infinity Stones.
Yeah. I think honestly, what Dan Campbell's biggest mistake was like fourth and 5 from the 30. What he should have done, right? Should have lined up in punt formation. Okay, 4th and 5, and what he should have done is gotten like Damar Hamlin, signed him like in free agency, and run the ball up the middle against the teeth of the defense. to get a first down. That was his mistake. He needed to do the fake punt.
The Niners need to get the Infinity Stones to save the world from Patty.
Yeah, seriously. Save me from watching another Super Bowl. Dear God.
Yeah, God, we're praying. It's sad, but we're praying for Purdy. We're praying for the Niners.
Doing the Super Bowl this year? I don't know if I could bear that.
No, I don't think so. Is it on? I thought it. Oh shit! It might be.
Oh my God!
It might be. Fuck, because it's CBS.
We're gonna have to hear fucking Jim Nantz and Tony Romo slob on Patty's knob the whole.
Yeah, CBS. For some reason, I was thinking Fox, and I was like, "That's not right. That's not."
God, it's gonna piss you off to listen to a broadcast where the commentators are going to be praising the other team the whole game.
I mean, what's the record with Tony Romo? Yeah, Tom Brady coming to Fox. Yeah, what's the record with Tony Romo commentating Chiefs games? It's like they have like such a winning record. Let's see. Yup, Jim Nantz and Tony Romo, official.
I gotta say, bro, your ref stat too for the Chiefs Ravens game was dead on, right? That the ref was against the home team's ATS like 27%.
They're against, they're like 30%, now 27%. Usually mute the commentary. Niner, if you ever want to do something funny, there's another YouTube page, Let's Talk Jets Radio. Anytime there's a Jets primetime game, I just put them on because they'll actually do a live stream for the whole game. And it's way better than anything Thursday night ever has to produce. Highly recommend. Maybe that's what we should do. Maybe we should do a fucking live stream.
Let's Talk Bills. Yeah, Super Bowl live stream. Yeah.
Oh God, that could be dangerous.
Imagine like and I love them too, but imagine like just some bitter, depressed like Jets fans. You really feel for them. They're been like good guys. Like it's tough, but yeah, it sounds like me watching a Bills game, just bitter, angry, depressed.
Fire everyone, cut everyone.
Yeah, we may have to. I told you we gotta do some live streams at some point during games.
I agree. We have to definitely get on that. That may be a off-season project that we can work on. I will say the props that did hit Purdy over passing yards is over rushing yards too. By the way, he had more rushing yards than Lamar Jackson. Thank you Niners game for throwing that out earlier.
Yeah, Brock Purdy. In Purdy, we trust.
In Purdy, we trust. C-Mac over 126.5 scrimmage yards hit. That was good. Lions plus 8.5, plus 7.5. That hit. Plus 7 also hit if you got the early line. Niner gang watching Tom Grossi. Wow. I don't know, man. Like, so getting back to the game, the Niners. This is what good coaching does. You're down, I think 17. Momentum starts going your way. You take advantage of it. You go down their throat. You do 2 big plays. Yeah. Get this back close. Get your defense on the field. Get a stop. They get the stop. This is the Niners team I think everybody was afraid of earlier in the season before they went on that bad losing skid. And it just seems like ever since then, they were talking about like how Purdy may not be any good. There's a reason he was the last pick. He may be getting exposed. And it's like, well, no team really is perfect. Even when the Patriots were, that was like, if you think about the Patriots team versus that like 74 Dolphins team, how much of an outlier those teams really were in that era. No team or quarterback really ever goes perfect anymore. Even Mahomes in his worst season still looked pretty good. Now, this game to me, like, I'm done with the Brock Purdy hate. I'm done with like the game manager nonsense. Brock Purdy's the real deal at quarterback. Like he's moved up an echelon for me after that game. Because again, it takes the quarterback to make those throws.
Yeah, it's very hard to say game manager when you come back down. Basically, in the playoffs, you have 2 come from behind wins. It's really hard to say game manager under those circumstances.
You can't.
If you're coming back in the playoffs against this quality of opponent, And I don't care if he's a game manager or not. He made the throws. They won the game. And the Niners took that away. I mean, literally, it was like, wow, what the hell happened? I mean, that's
Thanos snap, Niners game, and it's theirs.
Yeah, literally.
I just like, and that's the crazy thing too. We're gonna go into the Super Bowl now, and it's Brock Purdy. And remember last year when they played Philly and he got hurt in that first quarter, and people were like, "Oh, this Niners team, they're fraud." It's like, I think me and you were like one of the few that were just like, Purdy actually might be like the best quarterback on the Niners team. Now, I was more of a Jimmy G sympathizer, and I was like, well, it's an average white guy in a Kyle Shanahan system. I think anybody could fit it, so I don't know how special Purdy is. This game proved that, like, Purdy's the real fucking deal. There's no way Jimmy G gets out of that game the way he did. So, congrats to you, Mansmann. You were right. I was wrong about Jimmy G.
Yeah. Jimmy G. His days are over. Yeah, no. Look, I mean, the thing with Purdy is we don't know what he is yet. We're going to see what he becomes, and especially too, as time goes on and some of the weapons, change. I mean, we're really going to see what Purdy is. But so far, so good. I mean, it feels like basically. And I'll sort of transition to my early sort of Super Bowl, what I'm looking at. It really sort of, oh God, that's funny.
Jimmy G busy with the cheerleaders. Good for him, though. I mean,
yeah, good for him. If
you're not going to win on the field, win off the field.
It really seems like you have sort of the championship grizzled veteran sort of like been there, done that team against the best team. Because I think the Niners have basically been the consensus best team in the league, really up until sort of the Ravens beat them. So it's not surprising to see the Niners where they are. And I think you're going to, I hate to say it because I don't know if I want either of these teams to win, although maybe for Niner gang, I'll have be pulling for the Niners there.
I don't want the Chiefs. I'll make that known now. I'm tired of the Chiefs.
Yeah, I don't really want I'm probably going to end up betting the Chiefs, to tell you the truth, but I really don't want them to win.
Boo.
Why are they a 1.5 point underdog? Why are they an underdog in this game? Why are we not betting on Patrick Mahomes as an underdog? Didn't I say?
Because it's neutral site. It's not like a real road game. It's the Super Bowl. It's kind of like what we said about like playoffs. You kind of have to take everything like away from that, and you have to like essentially almost start over with the handicapping in the sense of like, this is the Super Bowl. Look at the teams at face value. And let's be honest, in my opinion, who's the better team? Who's more built to win this type of matchup? For me, Niners all the way.
That's why they're about the Niners defense. I'm very concerned about the Niners defense.
Sure. I'm. You know what I'm concerned about? Matt Nagy. Why is Matt Nagy only a one? Like, think about it this way. If the Chiefs truly are underdogs in this situation, why is it only 1.5? With this piss of an offensive scheme Matt Nagy has as a coordinator. Matt Nagy, by the way, has a chance to get a Super Bowl ring.
Oh, God.
Think about that for a minute.
NFC Championship ring.
Yeah, why? I mean...
Oh, my God.
Raiders fans having to watch the Chiefs and the Niners play the Super Bowl. That is a Raiders nightmare. So, I mean, we can all appreciate that at the end of the day. Mansmann, God rest your dad's soul. I know he's punching air right now.
Yeah, he's looking like... he's not watching the Super Bowl from upstairs. He's he's gonna catch. He's getting ready for spring training or watching some Knicks basketball. The Knicks are doing well. He's probably enjoying that. Yeah.
Nah, he's hanging out at the Belmont.
Oh Jesus! Yeah. What is it? Aqueduct.
Oh, the Aqueduct.
Winter. So yeah, they're running at the Big A.
Oh Jesus, that could be a shit show. But I mean. I don't know, man. Like, let's be honest. Both these teams, like, the Niners, for me, are just clearly the better team. side by side, the way they've played all year. Even looking at the losses this year, like the Niners had a skid. This Chiefs team has been so inconsistent all year. And right now it's like we're riding the high. I just don't know, like, how, like, does it really get higher to the point where, like, they're going to outscore the Niners? Like, let's be honest, if you like the Chiefs, you have to essentially bank on the Niners choking. And I don't like those types of handicaps. I really don't. Like, if I had to bank on 2 or 3 things happening for a team to win versus I just think this team is better, does it really sound like a good bet to you to really take the Chiefs? Like, I get they're an underdog here. I know the numbers say take the Chiefs as an underdog, but it's like, really?
The defense, the Chiefs defense concerns me. That's where I have concern for the Niners. We just talked up Purdy, how good he is. I'm concerned that he struggles in this game. This Chiefs defense is built different.
Yeah, I get
Part of
it.
it, too, is, I mean, you look at what the Chiefs now, I don't know who this favors. Chiefs went through a gauntlet, buddy. Ravens, Bills, Dolphins. I mean, that's what, 3 of the top 8 teams in the league. Yeah, Niners.
Yeah.
Their defense is gonna, I think, determine the Super Bowl.
Yeah, your defense has been very suspect. That first half against both the Packers and the Lions, not what you want to see, but also, like, if that happens against the Chiefs early in the Super Bowl, you know the Chiefs aren't going to get that lead up.
Ooh, maybe I bet a Chiefs first half. That might be the.
See, that I wouldn't mind that. Because you're probably going to get it. Because you're probably going to get even money first half, or you're going to get like a point. I wouldn't mind that at all. But Niners, just to me, like, how many times are we really going to go through this with the Chiefs? Like they go through a gauntlet, but like, did they really impress you at all, or was this just a team choked? I mean, look at the Dolphins. Did they really look that good against the Dolphins, or did they catch them in the worst spot known to humankind? Did they really look that impressive against the Bills, or did they catch a few lucky breaks?
It's so weird because it's like with the Bills and Ravens, the opposite. The Chiefs' offense was unstoppable. The Bills, pathetic. And then, like, this past week, their offense was, like, mediocre, but their defense was fantastic.
Yeah, I mean, they're a complete team, don't get me wrong, but I just don't have any faith in this Chiefs team to just keep up with this consistency now going up against the top of the NFC.
I mean, are you worried, though, that the Niners 2 straight come from behind wins? Did that scare you even a little? I don't know what to make of it. I don't know if that should be scaring me or not.
I normally would be, but I think you look at the spots themselves, they're at home, where, as we've gone over, they struggle more at home than they have on the road, believe it or not. Now it's going to be neutral site. I think you had the Packers, who were like as red hot as they were going to get, with a team you really weren't expecting to have as hot of a start as they did. The Lions going up 2 scores early. Nobody would, like, if you think about it, if you really believe the Lions were that good, you weren't that surprised. It was more of a shock about the Packers. And I think, as Niner Gang has alluded to, the defense has to step up here. You've played this team before, and this isn't the Patrick Mahomes team you faced with Tyreek Hill. There we go. Sorry about that. As I was saying, this is the Mahomes team with, like, the B-list starters. Like, they're literally benching Kadarius Toney for injury for the purposes of, like, we just don't want to screw up. Yeah, exactly. Like, is that the team I really want to back here? Like, is that a team that, like, the Niners are really going to go behind on? If they do, is it really going to be 3 scores? I don't know. Like, I have little faith in this Chiefs offense to stay consistent. That's my take.
Yeah, no, I got you. I will say, I think it's going to be a good Super Bowl. I have a good feeling that this is going to be a very interesting Super Bowl. I know that Swift stuff's probably going to annoy us. There's going to be a ton of commercials. It's going to really piss me off to see the Chiefs in the Super Bowl when, let's be honest, the Bills should have been in the Super Bowl, but whatever. But I think it's going to be a good Super Bowl. I really do.
Well, you know what they say. There's always next year.
Yeah. Yeah.
By the way, so I was scrolling through Denver social media. There's a rumor mill that Denver might be trying to trade up to get one of the top 3 quarterbacks. Rumor is Pat Surtain 2 could be on the block.
Ooh.
I fucking hope they don't do it. But we'll end it with random speculation. Here was my opinion, and I wanted to get your take before we go. I would rather see the Broncos stay put and just draft a Bo Nix and have it be like a reach. But we keep Surtain 2. Because I don't, we've already, if you're going to cut bait with Russ and call it a day with him, this is now quarterback, number 9, number 10 that has failed you? Do you really want to reach in the draft to get a maybe at quarterback again? And lose your best corner? Or do you just reach?
Yeah, go ahead.
Or do you just reach, get a guy who's probably just as serviceable, call it a day?
Well, bro, I think the big problem is if you go and trade up, do you know the pressure that there's going to be to start this kid week 1? And
100%.
You can't get out of Russ's contract this year. The dead money is so high. You're not. So are you going to go and reach and basically throw this kid to the wolves to be massacred because you're going to have no money? I mean, that's what's going to happen.
Not only that, but I mean, it's you have the dead cap issue. I think you have other veterans who are on free agency deals, or they're going to be unrestricted free agents. I just don't know what the hell this team does. I think and there's also talks, you just draft the best guy who you can get at 12. You pray somebody's available in the second. But honestly, if the Broncos were smart, which they're not, and if they knew what they were doing, which they don't, they do what the Ravens did in 2018. They get a first round pick, they use it. They then wait till towards the end of the draft when one of these 2 quarterbacks, like a Bo Nix or a Michael Penix, is dropping. You then wait till the end and just trade up then.
Yeah.
And get both. That's what I would do. But
yeah.
Oh, and speaking of dead cap money, Von Miller, $14 million per tackle. How much does that hurt?
Honestly, that's a fireable. If Brandon Beane could go for that, that alone's a fireable offense. Really is. The fake punt and the Von Miller signing, fireable offenses for that coach and that GM. But yeah, I think Big Buck Spade has frozen. No, I think for Denver, honestly, what you may want to do, you may want to go trade down, get a first round pick for next year. So when you finally can get out of Russ, you basically have 2 first round picks. That might be what I would want to do. So yeah, that'd be what I would do. Because it's tough. I mean, even I don't want to talk too much off season when we got a big game left, but I think a couple of these teams with the big cap hits, they need to make a decision of, what they're going to do and whether they're going to, try for next year or whether they're going to start rebuilding. So hopefully, I don't know if Big Bucks is coming back or not. This may be the end of the show. If it's wrapping up, Niner gang, if you're still there, thank you as always for checking us out. Always appreciate it, man. Definitely check out next week. We will have our Super Bowl picks. We'll be doing spreads, over-unders, probably a bunch of player props too. So definitely check it out. Thanks again, Niner gang. Appreciate you joining us. Looks like Big Bucks might be out, so I'm going to sign off now. Money Mansman signing off. Thanks, Niner Gang. Thank you for everyone else who may check this out. And as always, make that motherfucking money. Peace out. Oh,
Oop. Sorry about that.
sorry. I had signed off, so
No, you're good. We'll end it. Yeah, I don't know what the hell happened. We just had a serious Wi-Fi outage on my end, but I think that's a good time to end this. I think we've gone on long enough. Mansman, final words before we kill this.
no, I'm good. I already signed off, so have a good night.
All right,
buddy.
thanks, man. All right, have a good night, DeGents. Thanks again.
All right, later, man.
Signing.